1955 Chevrolet Cameo featured a smooth, car-like appearance with rounded fenders, a wraparound rear window, and a stylish two-tone paint scheme. It was the first pickup truck to incorporate these design elements, along with a spacious cabin with a comfortable bench seat, legroom, and stylish upholstery. The dashboard was redesigned with chrome accents and a modern instrument cluster. The 235 cubic inch V8 engine, paired with a 3-speed manual or optional 4-speed hydromatic transmission, ensured that the Cameo had the muscle to match its style. This AMT kit, part number 1094/12, is 1/25th scale and contains 104 parts. I have washed the parts and laid them out to start assembly. I assembled the engine block and painted it with Tamiya's X7 Red. The engine accessories were painted with Tamiya's X1 Black. The exhaust manifolds and transmission were painted with Tester's Flat Steel. The cargo box is assembled from 5 separate pieces. I used Mr. Cement S to assemble them. There are notches and steps to align the pieces together. The tailgate pivots in 2 holes and is not cemented. The side panels fit into a notch at the top and very front of the cargo box, as well as the notch at the rear. Repeat for the opposite side. With that assembled, I can go ahead and prime all the body parts with Tamiya Fine Surface Primer. Once the primer cured, I mixed equal parts of X7 Red and X20A thinner. I used a Pache airbrush to apply 3 coats to the body, hood, and cargo bed. I assembled the suspension before painting due to the complexity of assembly. First place the springs, then the I-beam, and then the tie rod assembly. Tabs help locate each attachment point. The shocks line up to each side of the I-beam and use pins to locate them. For the rear suspension, the front of the springs go to the bottom of the frame, and the rear of the springs fit in the grooves on the side of the frame. Then you can assemble the differential and insert the axle pin for the wheels. Once you have done that, you can then place the differential on top of the springs and install the shocks on the pins. Flip the suspension over and fit the steering shaft into the notch on the side of the frame by the front suspension. With the chassis complete, I used Tamiya TS14 Gloss Black to paint it. I also used Vallejo Model Air Blue to paint the shocks. The kit came with 2 styles of wheels. I used the red line tires along with the 5-spoke magged wheels for this build. After I mounted the tires, I went and installed the engine to the chassis along with the exhaust. I used a combination of X7 Red along with a cream color and a Maltov chrome pen to detail the interior. The seat actually folds forward. The firewall was added as well. To create a wood look for the truck bed, I painted a wood tone base coat. Then I dry brushed a darker tone to highlight the wood grain. I used a Maltov chrome pen to accent the truck bed strips. To seal and protect the finish, I applied several coats of Tamiya TS13 clear gloss. I applied bare metal foil to all the trim areas, as well as installed the windows, both front, rear, and side vents. Next, I installed the interior into the cab. There's a little notch on the front of the firewall that helps you line it up perfectly. I placed the inner fender extensions to add support to the cab, along with painting them the body color to match. Now I'll install the truck bed and cab onto the chassis. I will align the tabs on the bottom of the cab with the holes in the frame to attach the cab. The cab fits snugly to the chassis. There are recessed holes in the truck bed that I will align with the raised tabs on the frame to install it. The cargo bed is set in place and showcases the detailed wood floor nicely. The radiator and top radiator hose are set in place. My shop cat, Simba, inspects my progress. I attached the bumper guards to the front bumper before installing it. I put in the headlights and marker lights. Let me tell you, these little marker lights were next to impossible to install into such a tiny hole. The front grille pressed in nicely. I finished off the front end assembly by attaching the bumper and hood badging. On the rear of the truck, I placed the taillights, the bumpers, the bumper guards, and the tailgate logo. The 55 Chevy Cameo is almost complete. We just have to finish a few details. The kit came with decals to represent a vintage Coca-Cola delivery truck, along with a die-cast replica of a vintage Coca-Cola machine and dolly. Upon attempting to apply the decals, they broke into pieces and were unusable. I salvaged enough decals to detail the dispenser. Well, it looks like the guys in the shop are getting a new soda machine. The old one will go back to be refurbished.
Tony, make sure that tailgate is secure.
All set.
I'll get the door.